Good day everyone. For today's topic, you are going to learn about aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Again, aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Okay, so before we proceed with our lesson today, let's have a short review first with our previous lesson. So can you still remember? If you say respiration or types of respiration, then you are correct. So last meeting we discussed three types of respiration. We have cellular respiration. Okay, so it happens inside the cell where glucose needs oxygen to form or to release the energy, and we use that in our daily activities. Second, we have internal respiration. It happens inside our body, particularly in the lungs and our bloodstream where the exchange of gases happen. And the third one is external respiration, where we exchange gases from our environment through our nose. Okay? Next, let's have a vocabulary words for today's lesson. Kindly repeat after me. Aerobic. Aerobic. Let's spell aerobic. A E R O B I C. Aerobic. Anaerobic. Can everybody say anaerobic? Let's spell anaerobic. Letter A, N A E R O B I C. Anaerobic. Next, we have glucose. Glucose. Can you spell glucose? Letter G L U C O S E. Glucose. So what is aerobic respiration? When you say aerobic respiration, it is a process where the breakdown of food involves the use of oxygen. Okay, that's why aerobic with oxygen. Aerobic respiration, the carbon dioxide and water are always produced as waste products, and the energy to rebuild ATP is released. What do you mean by ATP? So ATP stands for letter A for adenosine, T for triphosphate, okay? So adenosine with 3-phosphate. That's why it's called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Okay, the most commonly used food and the only substrate that cells in our brains can use is glucose or sugar. So what are those food rich in sugar or converted into glucose? So we have those carbohydrates. Any kind of foods that rich in carbohydrates are the only substrate that cells our brains can use is the glucose. Next, aerobic respiration of glucose. The aerobic respiration of glucose can be represented by this formula. So we have glucose H12O6 plus 6 oxygen. So these are the reactants and these are the products. So at the end of the process, these are the products. So we have carbon dioxide, 6 carbon dioxide, 6 water, and ATP, okay, or the energy. So aerobic respiration occurs inside the mitochondria. So as we all know that mitochondria is one of the cell organelles. So it can be found inside the cell. Okay, and it releases great deal of energy. So it releases all in all 38 molecules of ATP. Next, the organisms showing aerobic respiration are called aerobes, like us, because we use oxygen in respiration process. Okay, so the release energy is used to convert a chemical molecule called ADP and ATP. So ADP, it means adenosine diphosphate. Adenosine with 2-phosphate, and then ATP, adenosine triphosphate, meaning adenosine having 3-phosphate. Okay, each molecule of ATP acts as a little packet of energy which can be stored and used later when needed. Okay, so that's why we need to eat a lot of food, healthy food, glucose, so we have energy to do our daily activities. Okay, so these are the process. Okay, to use the energy stored in ATP, the ATP molecule must be broken down again to ADP. Next, we will discuss about anaerobic respiration. So when we say anaerobic respiration, it is a process that breaks down glucose when there is very little or no more oxygen. So without oxygen, that respiration is called anaerobic. So when we say aerobic with oxygen, anaerobic without oxygen, or very little oxygen only. Okay, so organisms that respire anaerobically are known as anaerobes. Examples of anaerobes are bacteria and certain types of yeast. Okay, bacteria and yeast perform this kind of respiration. An active containing muscle also undergoes anaerobic respiration. Unlike aerobic respiration, which occurs in the mitochondria, anaerobic respiration occurs in the cytoplasm. So we organisms, we human beings, we also use anaerobic respirations in in a certain activity that we use. Okay, so you will know that one later. What will be the effect if we use anaerobic respiration, when and how it happens. Okay, checkpoint. How do you differentiate aerobic respiration from anaerobic? Anyone who can answer? I'll give you 10 seconds to answer. Okay, so when we say aerobic, it needs oxygen. Anaerobic respiration, there's no need oxygen. Okay, so we have this what we call anaerobic respiration in human muscle. So as what I have said a while ago, sometimes we use anaerobic respiration for if it's necessary to use. If we don't have enough oxygen in our body, especially when we do exercise or extreme activities, sometimes we don't have enough oxygen, so we undergo anaerobic respiration. So what will be the effect if we undergo this kind of respiration? Okay, sometimes our bodies cannot breathe fast enough to get enough oxygen to our muscles. This happens during demanding or exhausting activities. Okay, our muscles use up all the available oxygen to release energy from glucose is broken down by anaerobic respiration to form lactic acid. Okay, so again, if we have these extreme activities, so all the available oxygen to release energy from glucose is broken down, so we don't have enough oxygen. So that's why we can have this anaerobic respiration, and it will form a lactic acid. So what is the effect of lactic acid in our body? Okay, so this one. If this happens, glucose is broken down by aerobic respiration to form lactic acid. So as you can see, this particular athlete where he keeps on running and then suddenly he feel muscle cramps. Okay, so muscle cramps is the effect or the result of anaerobic respiration because it will form a lactic acid. Okay, so like this. So have you ever experienced that kind of what activities that you experience having these muscle cramps? Even when you go swimming or playing sports. So that's how our body reacts if we don't have enough oxygen. So we have these muscle cramps. Okay, so let's have a short quiz to know if you understand our lesson today. I would like you to write your answers in the comment section with your name. Okay, so these are the questions. Number 1, our muscles use up all available oxygen to release energy from glucose is broken down by anaerobic respiration to form blank acid. Number 2, it is the process that breaks down glucose when there is a very little or no more oxygen. Number 3, aerobic respiration occurs in the blank of the cell. So what cell organelle where aerobic respiration takes place? Number 4, aerobic respiration occurs in the blank. Number 5, the organisms showing aerobic respiration are called blank. Okay, so these are all the questions. Please answer. Thank you.